Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. We are actually changing things up here today. You're going to be surprised. We're stopping Deuteronomy for a bit. We're stopping Psalms for a bit. We're going to spend this week here, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So it's a little bit longer than a week. 8 days looking at the Christmas story in Luke 2. Okay, and this is actually entitled Christmas Week 2023. All right. In the past couple years, I've gone through the Christmas story, but never in Luke 2, if I recall correctly. I've spent it in the other Gospels, but this year I'm actually going to look at Luke 2, and we're going to spend a week looking at Luke 2. Luke 2 is probably the most quoted and most used portion of the Gospels for the Christmas story. And most people know the Charlie Brown Christmas, where Luke 2 is quoted. I remember growing up, a passage we had to memorize in school was Luke 2, the Christmas story from Luke 2. So we're going to spend these next 8 days looking at Luke 2. Some days it'll only be a few verses, then other days it'll be like 20 verses. Okay, Luke 2 is actually a longer chapter. So today I wanted to talk about how God orchestrates the kings. Okay, and so let me read here today. This is taken from Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. And if I didn't say it already, Merry Christmas. Christmas is coming up, and hopefully you guys are getting ready to not only give gifts, and not only receive gifts, but give gifts. Tonight I was able to give a gift that was like, when I saw this opportunity, I was like, I have got to do that. And so it wasn't a gift necessarily of like, a bag of peanuts or anything. It was like something I could do for somebody. And, I think they were as happy as clams, to receive that. So anyway, let's move on here. This is Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. Okay. I'm part of a Bible study that meets Sunday nights. That's actually part of dinner church also. That meets, and we were talking about this earlier this week, this particular passage here. And as we were talking about it, we were thinking about how disruptive a census would be. Now, we do a census here in the United States, and it's not a huge deal. It's like they mail out a card, I fill it out, and it's not a big deal at all. But in that day, you had to go back to your hometown. Now, I want you to think about this. I live in Florida. A portion of my audience does too. A portion of my audience lives all over the world, though, too. But in Florida is a state where many people are moving into. And if you look at people, I would say my age and older, very few of those people are born here. All right. I have kids that are born here. But very few people my age and older are born here. And you'll find many people in communities. I will go into communities to do work. And I guarantee you, when I go into those communities, I'll say, hey, where are you from? And no one is going, oh, I live just down the road and I moved into this community. Everyone is from out of state. Okay, that's just the way Florida is. So if you imagine with me, this is really a stretch here. Imagine with me a census happening where you have to go back to your home. In Florida, that would like wipe out the economy for a little bit, because everyone would leave Florida. Florida would be like a ghost town because it's just been built up with so many people, and it would be a ghost town. But whenever you travel like that, you go to a football game or whatever out in a town, all the hotels and everything are full. So imagine all the chaos that would ensue with people traveling around to go to your hometown. Okay, so it's something to think about here. But what I wanted to point out today is that this whole thing would have looked chaotic and like, oh, why would this happen? And so forth. Well, prophecies were given way back in the book of Micah that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. Okay, and it's obvious Joseph and Mary were not living in Bethlehem, and that's where the child was to be born. But you know what? God orchestrated the kings to decide, oh yeah, I'm going to have a census, and I don't know what gave him the bright idea. Well, I do. It was God. Okay, God gave him that bright idea to do that, and so God orchestrated all that for his plan to do his work that he wanted to done, which was to bring Jesus into the world. Okay, so you'll look at things, you're like, why is this ruler or this king doing this or this president doing this? And then you can look at it years later and you can go, oh, you know what? God had his hand in that. Okay, we might not see it now, but you can look at it later and you can go, yeah, you know what? Somehow God was doing something there. And this is what was happening is God was orchestrating this. You know, Caesar got the right idea to have this census, but it was to God's plan was to move people around to get Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem, where that prophecy was fulfilled. All right, so keep that in mind. God orchestrates the kings. If he can orchestrate the kings, he can sure orchestrate little old me. So anyway, thanks for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I invite you to join me tomorrow as we continue looking here at Luke 2. Lord's blessing. I'll see you tomorrow.